Okay, welcome everyone to the third class of our Psychedelic Preparation Series. We've already had two classes so far. The first one was about prayer, um, went into prayer, the power of our words, the power of our intention through prayer with Alberto. And last week we had our class on intention setting and mindset with Pia. And today we're going to explore the third pillar of psychedelic preparation, which is about somatics and nature. Um, so before we begin, um, well, right now we're physically in many different places in the world. Yet we have decided to come here to this space. We could have been doing so many other things, and we've decided to come here to this space together and be here for this next hour or so, experience this together. And I want you to really let yourself settle into this space and feel this shared container that has been created by your intention to be here, by your presence, and by your willingness to be here, turning your phone off, turning all the distractions off. And take a moment to just look at everybody here on the screen and to take notice of these humans that are here sitting with you. And feel yourself energetically lean into this space. And we're gonna just gently close our eyes and breathe deeply and feel our feet on the ground. Feel your body in your seat. I'm aware of how the air is moving in and out of your body. Maybe you feel the sensation of the air on your nose. And begin to tune into the sounds around you. Maybe the sounds in the room, the buzz of some electronics around you. Take a few more deep breaths. And welcome everybody. Welcome to this space fully. Thank you so much for being here. It's a true honor to sit together and to explore this theme, which is so very dear to my heart and all of us, I believe. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of kind of what the flow of today will look like. So we're gonna go through a class and some teachings on somatics and nature. I'll share with you guys an embodiment ritual, which includes somatics and elements of nature. And then you can integrate this into your daily lives, your daily practice. And at the end of the class, I will share a little bit about our next season of soul medicine, which ironically enough, everybody in the room today has already been to soul medicine. So it would be a nice refresh. Maybe you guys can give me some updates about how you guys have been doing since then. Um, and yeah, so I want to just begin by kind of introducing myself and introducing who I am, what's brought me here, why I do this work. And so my name is Nura. and I'm one of the facilitators at Soul Medicine. And I've been part of the team now for since last spring of 2023. So going on to the second year now. And I've been connecting with plant medicine since 2015, which today when I was writing this down, I was like, oh, wow, it's almost been a year. I mean, a decade. It's been almost a decade since my life has been intertwined with that of plant medicine. And wow, what a journey and what a gift. So I was initiated and trained with my teachers in Bolivia from 2016 to 2019. My first teacher is an amazing medicine woman who became like the first Buddhist monk of Bolivia. So all of our work together, I learned a lot about how to work with plants and the earth, but also how to enter into profound states of meditation with the aid of entheogens. So it was a very beautiful blend of the West and the East and everything that can exist when we really merge those two. My second teacher was a German woman who comes from the direct lineage of Albert Hofmann, who was the creator of LSD. And so with her, we learned a lot about how to engage in deep emotional healing through the aid of entheogens. So yeah, plant medicine and just entheogens in general have been a very important part of my life so far. But honestly, before I even sat with plant medicine, I was a traveler of the world and I studied a lot with the earth. I have been living in wild nature all over the world for almost 10 years. And my journey of embodiment and of healing began with living in nature and with having deep connection with the earth around me, with the world around me. I immersed myself in nature for long periods of time alone, and just was always in this like search of how can I expand what's possible within my body? How can I go beyond my limits? And when I began working with plant medicine, I realized that um, plants are here to help us come back home to the body and deepen our connection with nature. And yeah, my first experiences with plant medicine really brought me deeper into my body, and I've been nourishing this connection ever since. So there's not really a separation between humans and the earth, which I'm sure that all of you already know. Um, and I do believe that psychedelics and ceremony remind us of this truth. Um, so yeah, like when I began working with plant medicine, I think one of the things that was really pivotal for me was having these spiritual experiences in groups and in community. And I realized through this connection with people, um, like how just how truly connected we all are, everybody in the world. And um, as I spent more and more time in nature, I could feel that as I sat with different plants and different trees, it was as if I was sitting with all of the trees of that species, of that type, because they have an interconnectedness within the roots and within the earth. And it made me contemplate a lot how we as humans have something similar going on. You know, we live in our own individual bubbles and we have our individual lives, yet there is something intrinsically uniting all of us. Um, and it creates a very interdependent relationship between us, which is beautiful and can also be detrimental if we are not aware of it. Um, so, yeah. So in in soul medicine, we explore somatics a lot. Like this is one of the most important things that we work with along with plant medicine. And the reason for that is because like the body is a huge gateway for integration. Somatics is the field of study that focuses on the body and the physical sensations, the perceptions, the experiences. And from my perspective, entheogens bring us closer to ourselves and to nature. And in order to feel the medicine, in order to connect with the medicine, in order to connect with what lies within us, we need to be able to sit with ourselves and be with ourselves. If not, we'll just be kind of like running away the whole time, trying to kind of like avoid what the medicine is trying to bring to us. So practicing somatics before we have a psychedelic journey will strengthen that muscle of presence and give you the ability to stay present to whatever appears during your journey and during your experience. The more you practice that muscle of presence in your daily life, the more you practice being in your body in your daily life, when you do sit with the medicine and you have, these experiences, which there's a myriad of things that can come up when you have a plant medicine ceremony. There's so many different things. It can be memories, emotions, sensations, visions of the future, experiences of other lifetimes. It's so broad and it's so infinite. And in my line of work, I find it extremely important to be rooted throughout this entire process so that you do come back to yourself, you do come back home. And all of those beautiful things that you experience can be integrated into your life. Having psychedelic experiences without integration is like watching a great movie, and then you kind of forget the details. So somatics helps us do that, helps us bring these wisdoms and these visions and these perspectives into our daily life and be able to really make shifts in our daily life that are more real, more aligned, and more authentic to who we are and to how we are meant to walk through this world. So as I was preparing for this class, I was listening to a podcast from one of my teachers, and she's a medicine woman in Ireland, and she was talking about how in Ireland they call the mushrooms soma. And I find this very interesting because today we're going through somatics, right? And it made me contemplate how mushrooms are found all over the world, and they are like the flesh of the earth. They are like you. It's one of the only medicines that you can just go into the wild, pick them, and eat them right away, and connect with this field of wisdom and this field of information. Whereas with other medicines like ayahuasca or wachuma, or you have to blend them with something, cook them. It's it's a little bit more of a complex process. Whereas mushrooms are in their purest form can be ingested, and you can have this connection with them, this physical connection with them. And the spirit of mushrooms is very, very earthy and very grounding, and they bring us into the earth and into the depths of our own being. Oftentimes working with mushrooms, it really works a lot with like this womb space, the second chakra, this place where we form a root with the earth. And oftentimes when people work with mushrooms, they connect with spirit beings of nature. They connect with spirit beings because it's almost as if this doorway opens and this veil is lifted, and suddenly we can see what is always alive around us, but now with more clarity because we've shifted our perspective as well. We're not living our life as this isolated, separated being, but we have just now opened ourselves to connect with everything. And as I say that, I get goosebumps on my body, because I can start to feel these kind of little hairs. It's like these energetic hairs that are always connecting our body and nature and the forest and the world and the beings and spirit. So yeah, it's a real honor. It's a real privilege to be able to experience this, because in the past, entheogens were reserved only for, the medicine men and women of the tribes. And now today we have the privilege and the ability to sit with these medicines and to receive their wisdom and to remember who we are, no matter where we come from or who, let's say, our role in the world. So before I continue, does anybody want to say anything or have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, sounds good. So as I've said already, entheogens bring us closer to life. They deepen our connection with life. They deepen our connection with humanity, with the natural world, and they remind us of our place in this web of life. So cultivating a connection and a relationship with the natural world, with the earth around us, strengthen us and also brings us more stability within ourselves. The world around us is always changing, it's always moving, it's always shifting. And I don't know how it was for you guys, but in my life growing up, I learned that my state of being was dependent on my environment. Um, Whatever my family was going through, whatever the world around me was going through, is going to dictate how I feel. And a big part of unlearning all of that for me has been through going into nature and going past the limits of what I thought I was able to do. Going into long vision quests or just being alone in nature for a long period of time, immersing myself in nature, climbing a big mountain, going into cold water, like really expanding what I believed I was able to do and learning that I have already a 0 point inside of myself of how I feel. That isn't really, the world around me can't really touch that, you know? When I'm centered into this 0 point, this is where I am home. And this 0 point is always available, yet I do find that being in nature amplifies it, and it like amplifies this ability to reconnect with it over and over again. And when we go into psychedelic experiences, so the nuance of today in our world is that although psychedelic experiences are becoming they're becoming a lot more common. You can see like so many psychedelic experiences happening in your neighborhood. There's just so many people, some self-proclaimed shamans, some people who really have been initiated and trained into working with these medicines and holding safe spaces for people. And there's a nuance in all of this because although it's just so beautiful that these medicines are reaching more and more people, and we are kind of in this collective remembering. It's not like we're learning something new. We are remembering who we are as humanity, who we have always been, and remembering this connection with the world around us and with the universe around us. And the nuance here comes in with that often, for example, psilocybin is being worked with in a clinical setting. It's a clinical setting where the people are blindfolded, they have some headphones on, and they're sitting in a room, maybe by themselves or with one person. And they're really like going into their own experience with the medicine, but it's almost in a way isolated from the world around them. And the medicine of psilocybin, the medicine of the mushrooms, has, I believe, always been something that we experience in nature. It has always been something that we experience by being out, being held by this, the trees around us, the earth around us, the water around us. And yeah, in this resurgence of psychedelic work, being able to cultivate that connection with nature, being able to cultivate like that strong foundation is gonna just create like it creates a space for our future to to be more, it sounds ironic because this is like what we are. It creates like this space for this ancient wisdom to be part of our future, and not just some isolated medicine or this isolated thing. So as you prepare for psychedelic experiences, the role of the body in this whole thing is that it's like this anchor point. You know, like if you are ever in a journey, and there's just like something, you just get swept up by something, and it's, you know, it can feel like too much, or it can feel like, you know, just that this feeling of just like you're just getting swept away. um, Through the body, you can anchor back into the present. And it's something that I don't see like happen very often. Like people often just kind of go away, and then, you know, and then they have to come back later, and it's beautiful, it's natural, it all happens like in its own way. Um, but being aware of that, of your body during a ceremony or during an experience, can just, it like helps to move through it in a lot, like with a lot more ease. Um, and the body is like the vessel where we can move emotions, and we can integrate lessons. um, I know that the human body is a direct reflection of the earth, and it's a direct reflection of the state of the world, or the state of the earth around us and the land around us. So to me, I see no, it's not a surprise that so many people are feeling, you know, they either sick or they have different things happening with their body. It's not a surprise to me, because if we look at like the state of the land, in most of the places in the world, it's heavily depleted. Um, you know, the relationship that humans are having with the land is one of extraction. Where like, what can I extract from this land? How can I take these resources from this land? How can I just go and use the earth to get what I want? And as we become more and more at home in our bodies, I turn that question inward and ask myself, okay, how am I treating my body only like a resource, extracting what I need from it, and like depleting myself? And how can I create a more regenerative relationship with my life, where the actions that I take nourish me? The decisions that I make give me more energy and give me more strength. And I know that, I mean, I truly believe, and I know it deep inside me, that when we turn our vision inwards and we ask ourselves this question of how, you know, how am I treating this earth that carries me, that I live in right now, it will change the way that we relate with the land around us and with the earth around us. Like there truly is no separation between them. Um, And the irony is that a lot of people do think that it's just completely not related. Completely two different things. The earth and humans, look, two different things. And like nature is something that we go and we enjoy sometimes, or it's something that like we can get things from, or it's something, it's just like a thing out there, you know, a thing out there. Even going camping, you're going and you're just like, just going out there for a day or two and then coming home, to coming home to your normal life, you know, as it just is two separate things. And um, for me, there truly is no separation. They're always interconnected. What, even if we live in the middle of a big city, like even if you live in the middle of New York or Los Angeles or some huge, I don't know, Shanghai or something, where it feels like nature just doesn't exist in a way. You know, it's all asphalt and buildings and cars and noises and human created things. Um, Within the essence of that is still nature. And it's not easy to remember that or to realize that, but it is extremely true. Um, One of my favorite singers, her name is Luzmila Carpilo. She's a Bolivian singer, and she's like an Andean woman from, she grew up in the mountains, and she learned how to sing when she was walking with her sheep in the mountains. And yeah, that was her way of learning how to use her voice. And she later moved to Paris and, created a life in Paris. And her voice sounds like a bird. Like if you ever listen to her singing, it really sounds like a bird is singing. And someone asked her once, like, how do you live in this huge city? How do you live in this big place, where you can't see the sunrise and the sunset, and there's all these buildings and cars and everything. And she just had this, like, for her, there was really like, well, the birds are still singing, and like nature is still alive here, even though I'm in the city. And I wake up in the morning, and even though there's all these other sounds around me, I can still hear the birds, because that's what I'm focusing on, that's what I'm putting my attention on, that's what I'm putting my vision on. And with that same way, like whether we're in the middle of New York or in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, filled with beautiful trees and rivers and waterfalls, like no matter where we are, we still have the ability to connect with nature. And in connecting with nature, like it also connects here with this body. So like sometimes I have this, it's not really like a conflict, but I'm like, yeah, you can begin by connecting with your body and with somatic, and that will bring you to nature. Or you can connect with nature and it will bring you to your body. Like there's not like a right or wrong way to do this. There's not a right or wrong place to start, because they're so interconnected that whatever the path opens up to you the easiest is the one that you should follow. Like if it feels very right and easy for you to begin to connect with your body, begin to connect with movement and the senses and just what it is to have this human vessel, then take that way. And if it feels very natural and easy for you to connect with nature and go into the wild, or even just go to your park and sit under a tree and begin to form deeper relationships with the plants around you, then take that route. But whatever it is, it's important to root yourself, to embody in some way or another. I don't think that we are aware of, I don't think many people are aware of how disembodied they are, just kind of floating. They're like floating above the world in some way. They're floating above the earth, and they're going through the motions of life, but they're not actually here. They're not actually present. And it's very interesting. And I also understand why a lot of people choose to disengage in some way, because when you do come into the body, you are met with what it is to be human, all the sensations that exist, maybe emotions that were repressed, maybe, things in your body that you didn't want to deal with before. And it's not always easy in the beginning, but when we do dive into that, when we walk through that path of embodiment, it obviously also opens the door to feeling all of the abilities that we have in our body, all the physical senses, and also beyond, like the body is a physical vessel, but it's the place where our soul comes to experience life in this world. It is a sacred vessel. It is a sacred creation. And the world that we live in has taught us that our body is against us. We have to control it, and it's bad in a way. There's a lot of shame around the body in so many different ways. A lot of shame about sensations in the body, about emotions, desires. And as we begin to like unpeel those different conditionings that we have and come back into this body, yeah, we're gonna go face that. We're gonna go through it, and yet it's like, from like the body is intrinsically innocent. The body is intrinsically perfect. It has been created that way. That's just how it is. And I always ask myself, like, wow, like what would it be like to live in a world where we all know this, that we know that our body is innocent and it's perfect. and we accept it as it is, and we go into the natural world with that same perspective, and knowing that the natural world is also innocent and it's also perfect, and I am safe here. Nature is safe, my body is safe. And it doesn't mean that like danger doesn't exist in this world, but when you're embodied, when you're present in your body, no matter what comes up, you're able to deal with that with way more ease than if you're just floating around, like looking at things from above and thinking about them beforehand and feeling anxious about them and everything. So I was going to go over a little bit of the nervous system and the role of the nervous system. I think it's one of like the buzzwords these days, like nervous system regulation, somatics, like they're all kind of buzzwords. And which is funny, but I mean, good. It's good that they're getting more attention. So I don't know how it is for you guys. Maybe you guys can tell me in the chat, but for many people, for myself included, when the medicine begins to activate in our beings, the first point of recognition is through the nervous system. So our senses begin to shift in some way. Our sense of like the things that we hear begin to shift, maybe the feeling of our skin, the taste of our mouth, the smells, like our senses begin to shift. And this is through the nervous system. The nervous system is like the first point of entry for the medicine. So the state of our nervous system has a lot to do with how, oh, Julia. The state of our nervous system has a lot to do with how we receive this medicine. You know, how open we are to receive the medicine. Like if your daily life is full of stimulation, like loud noises, if you're stressed out, if you eat in a hurry, if you walk in a hurry, if everything is just like this tense, you know, like wound up feeling, it, you know, you're gonna meet that when you go into ceremony as well. And if you begin to kind of lessen the amount of stimulation that you have, maybe you consciously create more space in your life to move slowly. You let your meals be like a time where you can really sit down and just enjoy, not really just like, but like, you know, sit down and enjoy. It sounds ironic, but even in the shower, if you like shampoo yourself, like, you know, all, this is all gonna make your nervous system more stressed out. So it's really like in the little things. How can I, in the little things of life, be more relaxed? And I recently started a job. This is a little bit like unrelated, but I'm gonna just say it to you guys. I recently started a seasonal job, and it's very interesting because I haven't had a job for a long time. I've been self-employed or just working in medicine world or things like that. And recently I've been called to start a job. And in this process of starting a job, I have created so much space in my morning to sit down and meditate and drink a tea and like stretch my body and be in my body. And there's been some days when I didn't do that. I just got up and I just went straight away to what I needed to do. And the difference in my energy throughout the day was so palpable. It was like so palpable to feel how I could easily get swayed and upset and all this stuff because I didn't start my day off with that, with being with myself, you know, with because like I said earlier, we can't control what happens in the world around us. We don't know who's going to come into our path that day, but we have the ability to set ourselves up for being like relaxed, for being present. And the less stimulation that we give ourselves, like when we create a daily life or even a daily ritual or a routine for ourselves in which we limit the amount of stimulation that we have, it allows our nervous system to be regulated more easily. And nervous system regulation doesn't mean like you never have any strong emotions and you never feel anything negative. It just means that you're able to move through challenges with greater ease and come back to the 0 point that I was talking about in the beginning of the class with greater ease. So instead of getting like caught in this loop of nerves and you're just like jumping from one thing to the next, you're able to say, oh, okay, yeah, I feel very stressed, or I feel scared, or I feel whatever it is. And then you move through that, and then you can come back to the 0 point. So yeah, and our body is always speaking to us at all times of the day, at all moments. Our body is always in communication with us. And they're not just like these menial, non-important communications. This is our earth, this is our roots. And learning to listen to the language of our body really anchors us in this world. It's like coming home and taking your home with you wherever you are. So how's everyone doing? I've been talking for a long time.
Can I ask a question, Nura?
Yes, of course.
I was thinking like you were talking about like when you take the medicine, like at the start, like anyways, I'm going to ask the question. Me, when I work with medicine, like it doesn't matter which one, right? Like but I always get in a state like at some point where there is this like shift happening, but I always go into anxiety. Even like when I smoke DMT, like there's this moment of like my brain disconnecting from like everything else, and I go always into like massive anxiety. Is this like, does this have a reason? Like it probably has a reason, but does this tell something about me, or is this just like a thing that happens with many people?
That's a very good question. And so I know that this happens with a lot of people. And I also know that it is like something personal in a way. But it's always, so this is the way that I see it. Like we have our comfort zone, which is like everything that we are familiar with. Even the way that we live our life, that we perceive things, it's our comfort zone. And when we go into like a psychedelic experience, no matter what medicine we open that doorway with, we are going beyond that comfort zone. So it begins to just, here's our little bubble, and then suddenly we're like, outside. And that can feel very destabilizing. You can feel scared. Like suddenly everything is very different than how you normally thought it was. And there's something in between these that I call it like the expansion zone. It's like the place where you begin to expand, but you're not like totally blowing yourself out. So you're able to feel the expansion of the medicine or of the experience that you're having, but without like disassociating completely, or without, just like I call it blowing yourself out, because you just get like, pew. So what I would say, so this is like my perspective on it, but what I would invite you to do is the next time you sit in ceremony, the next time you have a connection with some type of plant or teacher, that when that anxiety comes up, you observe where it's coming from. And we're gonna, like shortly, we're gonna do like a little practice of the body. And you can use this practice when you go into ceremony the next time when you're sitting with plant medicine. And it will help you to maybe see that anxiety a little bit better and understand it, but also be able to perhaps even shift it. So, and I hope it's okay to say this, Peter, but I know you like on a personal level, and I know that you're a highly sensitive person, which probably all of us here are very highly sensitive. humans. Like we're probably everyone who even thinks about coming to one of our retreats is like highly sensitive. Like this is not the work for the brave. Like this, or, I mean, sorry, it says the work for the brave ones, you know, the ones who are, we are able to feel it all. And it's not for the you know, anyways. So, so with being said, with that being said, yeah, I think I know that like preparing your nervous system in advance is going to help you because you're so sensitive and you're able to feel so much. Sometimes going so big, so fast, just feels it's too much. And so in those cases, see if maybe microdosing works better for you, or maybe like kind of going small and then going up, like kind of slowly expanding instead of just like blowing yourself out instantly. And yeah, if you find yourself, if you identify yourself as like a highly sensitive person, or you recognize that you're highly sensitive, really like working on that beforehand, you know, creating a good foundation with your body, creating a good foundation with your nervous system, so that if you are in a journey and you begin to feel anxious, you feel unsafe in some way, or you just feel scary because now you're going into the unknown, you know that you can come back to this world. And I mean, sometimes in ceremony, I mean, not sometimes, often we are not in control. Like we're not the ones running the show. We surrender ourself and our life to the medicine and to spirit, and cultivating trust with spirit helps a lot, because we can trust that wherever we're going to be taken in the journey is going to be like it's where we need to experience, and it's what we have to experience. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, okay.
Oh,
Can
I say something? Hi.
Yes, please. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, with that said, I think it will be a very, very good exercise to do this passage and put yourself in this position where you give yourself to the medicine, where you trust fully and like really like think about it. And because for me, for example, what is always happening is resistance. So I started to experience pain in my body, and sometimes also this kind of anxiety, pain in my belly, in my back. Also, not just when I am sitting in ceremony with mushrooms, but also in other circumstances, in Temazcal, in the Vision Quest. And but when I am able to put on aside this resistance that I have of control, and I surrender to the medicine, whatever the medicine is, this changes, and the experience is it's more enjoyable. It's more, I can the doors to the medicine, the doors for the medicine to come in are more open. And yeah, I think it's all about resistance and surrender. So yeah, it's good exercise to, okay, I'm sitting in ceremonial, I'm deciding, it's my willpower, I'm choosing to be here, and so I surrender because I trust the medicine, and I let the medicine to work through my nervous system and to transform me and to heal me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not easy, but it can be a good exercise. Mind can be very stubborn sometimes and wants to control everything.
Yeah, mine is so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'll share something as well. Something that has helped me is doing fasting. So, like water fasting and treating the water as medicine, even though it's not a psychedelic, it still brings up like the consciousness of water and just the interconnectedness, and also the ability to still be going about your day and able to be more present to the anxiety that comes up of like, oh, like I haven't eaten, like what's going to happen? Um, yeah, I have found that incorporating water fasts and fasting in my life, that's been a big change since I attended uh, the medicine ceremony a couple years ago.
As in like water fasting for a day or 12 hours or like a couple of days?
I water fast for about 72 hours. So then, yeah, so then this is a whole nother topic, so I don't want to get too into it, but basically it allows the cells to like purge and to eat the bad cells that are within. And after 72 hours, that's when the body starts to regenerate new cells.
All right, yeah. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Julia, Peter. You guys are all saying such beautiful things. I feel like every time one of you speaks, the space gets richer. Like it's like as if it just grows and really gets more rich. And Dylan reminded me of something that I wanted to share also, is that obviously like this class has a lot to do with psychedelics, right? And entheogens. But everything in life is medicine, like everything. And currently I'm pretty deep in the study of dieting with plants, like native plants to me, not necessarily like psychedelic plants, but like local plants that are around me, and making teas with them and forming relationship with them and understanding, not even understanding, but just beginning to cultivate a deeper relationship with the natural world through dieting like local plants like the oak or the rose or the blackberry bramble or different things like that. And it's like, and even just with water, like Dylan said so beautifully, you know, like connecting with like the consciousness that exists in water, the consciousness that exists in the world around us, and in the food that we eat and the breath that we take. And it's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong cultivation that we all are going to have our own like unique relationship with. So yeah. So I wanted to share with you guys just like a super simple kind of practice and ritual. Has everybody brought a candle? Yeah. Woohoo, okay. Okay.
I lit mine before the ceremony, or before the ceremony of this call.
Yeah, this is a ceremony. So before you light the candle, just
Is it okay if it's not a new candle?
yeah, it's okay.
Thank
you.
you.
So before we light the candle, and if you already lit your candle, I mean, you can relight it now if you like to kind of go in with this. So I love to begin any ritual with the candle and with the fire, the flame, because it is it's one of our connection points with our ancestors, with the earth, and with all the humans who have been alive in this world before us and all of those who will come after us. So we're going to light our candles, each of us, recognizing that this flame, so as you light it, welcome the fire into the space. Welcome the wisdom of the fire, the teachings of the fire, the presence of the fire. And just take a moment to look at the flame that appears before you. To look into this element and to recognize this element, this very ancient quality of the fire that has lit up the nights of your ancestors, of the ancestors that lived on the land before you. As you look into the flame, almost allow this quality of the fire to enter into your heart. And begin gazing deeper into the flame, allowing that shared connection with humanity to really enter into your being. Inhale and exhale, and know that you are held by this web of humanity that crosses time and space. Know that you belong on this earth as a part of this family. You can silently give thanks to the fire for everything that it has brought you and shown you in your life. Even if it's just as simple as this beautiful light that you have the possibility to see in this moment. Whatever it is that you feel have been the gifts that you've received from the fire, you can give thanks to this grandfather in this moment. If there's anything you have a question about, or if there's anything you need guidance with in your life, you can ask the fire. And the fire will respond, it will communicate with you. And keeping that flame still alive in our eyes, we're going to just close our eyes and come into the body and take that brilliance of the flame, that brightness of the light. You're going to just allow it to kind of move through your body and show you any part of your body that has been, that just wants to be looked at by you. And maybe you become aware of it through a sensation, a physical sensation, maybe an emotional sensation. And you're going to just begin to deeply breathe into that part of your body that has become lit up by your awareness. And whatever that part of your body is, you're going to just put your hand there. And take a deep breath. And when you exhale, you're just going to allow like sound to come out of that part of your body and to move out through your voice. And just trust it. It doesn't have to sound as any way. It doesn't have to be anything. You can allow yourself to move also. Let that part of your body move. Just giving this space for the light of that fire that you were looking at, the light of your awareness to fill that space. So use this moment to allow your body to speak, to move through sound, to move through movement. Not really to like try to make anything go away, but just to be present with it. And become super aware of the muscles in that part of your body and see if you can allow them to relax a little bit more. And begin to come into communication with this part of your body. If you haven't already. You're like a curious inquiry. What this part of your body needs, what this part of you needs. Become aware of any sensations that arise as you recognize it, you recognize yourself. You can then ask this part of you what it needs today. Is there anything that you can do today that you can include in your day that will nourish this part of you? Will take care of this part of you? So thank you. Thank you to your body. Thank you to your awareness. And we're going to get our cup of water. And begin to look into the water, into the purity of this water, into the depth of it. Become aware of the physical sensations of your body that arise as you look into the water, as you come in contact with the water. And out loud, give a prayer to the water. Give thanks to her. This is another contact point for us to connect with the rest of humanity. This water that has sustained our lives from the beginning to the end. With the water, everything is possible, and without her, nothing is possible. And this is the same water that my ancestors have drank, and the ancestors of this land. That my children will drink, and my grandchildren will drink, and that your grandchildren will drink. This water that knows my body, and that knows me better than I know myself. Thank you. Thank you, sacred water, for always being here. When you finish your prayer, now drink this water. Becoming, just allowing the water to enter your body, like being aware of how it enters your body. With this, our ceremony of today comes to an end. This experience that we just had, this little ritual, you can take into your daily practice with you. You can integrate it into your life if you feel called to. It does and will and can help to become more embodied here and now. And yeah, over time, this little practice can evolve into overall awareness of your body and your humanness in general. Like in this world, we really need more humans. Humans who are as human as possible. So I hope that you have received something beautiful from this time together from our ceremony, and that you can walk into your day feeling more present and more in your body. Does anyone want to share anything? Mm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nura.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here live. Like I said before, the space, I can really feel how alive it is with all of your presence and your attention and your being. And it's very precious to me. Like I feel very nourished by our meeting today. And for everybody who's watching the replay, I really hope that you know that you are here with us in the present. Like there's no time and space difference. I hope you can feel this space that's been created. And I was just going to spend the next couple minutes talking about soul medicine. So if you guys feel like you have completed, like if you feel pretty complete about this experience, please feel free to go. There's no hard feelings. And if you want to stay and hear about soul medicine, that's possible too. But yeah, so today we're pretty lucky because I'm here and Julia is here too. And Julia is our amazing, how do I always call you, Julia? She's like this beautiful magician who creates the most nourishing meals for us. And she's an artist, a culinary artist. And yeah, this November we are beginning our next season of soul medicine in Mexico, still in Halixay, in this beautiful place in the jungle. And we're very excited for the next season of retreats. We're very excited for what's to come. Mm, and yeah, we have quite a few. We still have some spots available for November for anyone who feels called to join us and to enter into this space of healing, of medicine. We will explore somatics, Cambo, Temascal, of course, the ceremonies of psilocybin, and we will be held by the beautiful jungle there. So it's a very immersive experience in nature. And until the end of August, we have a very special discount available for anyone who wants to join. So if you're interested, you can send us a message or go to our website, which is ourfutureisancient.com. And yeah, thank you all so much for coming. And if you know anybody, if you have any friends or family that you think this experience would be helpful for, please send them our way. Our family is always growing more and more, and we love to receive more people here. So thank you all so much. And we will see you next Thursday at the same time for the last class of our Psychedelic Preparation Series, which will be with Julia, and we will go over how to nourish your body with good foods and good relationship with nourishment before you enter the journey. So I hope to see you there. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for this magical hour. Love you.
I love you too. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Peter.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.